but I really picked it because it's a giant inconvenient circle. Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I make several videos a week all about cruelty-free beauty, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I hope you'll please consider subscribing. So I kind of wanted to combine two different kinds of videos, a shop my stash and then also picking out 10 eyeshadow palettes that I want to reach for over the summer. I know that summer's not technically till the end of June, but a lot of schools are getting out now or are already out. So a lot of people already consider it summertime. I have my cute little adorable thrifted lemon earrings. They're heavy. They're kind of heavy, but I love them. So I'm ready for all the lemon stuff. I'm ready for the summertime. Now I do want to say that some of these palettes I have picked out, they are no longer available. You don't need them. This is not one of those videos where I'm telling you, you need these 10 eyeshadow palettes. Absolutely not. This is a video that can give you an excuse to pull out all of your eyeshadow palettes, make a huge mess on the floor like I did, and pull out palettes that you feel are perfect for the summertime, or just maybe they're palettes that you haven't used in a while and you want to use them. That's all this is about, just using what you currently have in your collection, just more of a summertime edition. So the 10 palettes I picked out that I want to reach for at least once over the summer are these palettes right here. The first one is from Rare Beauty. This is the Confident Energy eyeshadow palette. These were released a couple of years ago during the holidays. I think they're actually still listed on Sephora's website. I don't know if they're out of stock, but I believe I saw them on there one time. But it just looks like this, has packaging like that. And I just thought that, I don't want that glare on it. There we go. I just thought that these tones were absolutely perfect for the summertime. There's some pretty coppery tones, some peachy pink tones. Of course, this more kind of like limey green shade and a blue. I feel like this is definitely a palette that I want to reach for, and because it's an all shimmer palette, it'll be perfect to pair it up with some of these other palettes that I have here that have more matte shades in them. The next palette is from Profusion. This is their Honest Hibiscus palette. It is the eyeshadow that I'm wearing in today's video. I will have a tutorial using this eyeshadow palette further along in the video. I'll leave timestamps below in case you want to just skip ahead to the tutorial. But it has packaging kind of like that. And this one glares really badly, so I'm hoping that I can show it to you. There we go. And I mean, it has these pretty pinks, these hot pinks, a pressed glitter shade. It's a perfect palette for the summertime. And I can say that I have already dipped into this one for the summer since I did wear it today. The next palette that I picked out, this one is from LA Colors, and this is their Sunset palette. Now, this to me is definitely a summer palette. It's got those beautiful warm tones. It's got the coppery colors in it, the golds. I think that it's definitely a classic summer eyeshadow palette for a fraction of the price, because these palettes are only like $3, I think. The next one is from ColourPop. This is their Coast to Coral eyeshadow palette. I mean, and even the name Coast to Coral, like, reminds me of the beach, reminds me of summertime. These fun, really beautiful pops of coral in this palette. I don't use it nearly enough. I've maybe dipped into this palette once. And that's not what I want to do. I want to use my palettes more than that. So this is one I definitely wanted to include in my summer eyeshadow looks. Next, kind of the same vibe. I really love warm tones. I love warm tones year-round, but I definitely love them for the spring and the summer. I love peachy, orangey tones. They're my favorite. Peachy pinks, anything. And this is the Milani Luminoso eyeshadow palette. And again, just kind of a classic palette that has the golds in it. Some of these more peachy tones. It's one I definitely want to reach for more, and everyone knows Luminoso is a classic. I think this paired up with the blush would be a really beautiful, quick and easy summer look. The next one's kind of like a two-in-one. This one can be used on your face and your eyes. This is the Pixi and Hello Kitty Chrome Glow palette. And it just has these really pretty shimmer tones. I just love these warm shades, these pinks. I feel like this would definitely be a really perfect palette to use during the summer, especially because of all the shimmer. I think when I also think of summer, I think of like shimmery, glowy skin. And this palette is definitely one that will give you all the shimmer. Next, a classic. This is the e.l.f. Retro Paradise collection. I'm sure most people definitely have this eyeshadow palette. I know the collection was a few years ago, but I remember seeing so many videos about it. So many people did enjoy the palette, so I think it was a perfect one to pull out there. Again, it has these coppery tones in it, some of these golds. It also has these really beautiful pops of color. The blue, the green, definitely what I consider summer vibes, and the whole collection was a summer collection in general too, so I wanted to pull it back out and give it some more love. Now this next one, honestly, the packaging I guess looks kind of summery, but the inside is pretty boring, but I really picked it because it's a giant inconvenient circle. And this is the Tarte C collection. This is the Salt Life eyeshadow palette. I mean, it's a giant circle. I mean, the inside is pretty boring. It's pretty basic. Kind of like how Tarte usually goes for these neutral tones, but I don't know. Something just kind of pulled me to it. I guess it maybe is the packaging, since it does have the sea and it does kind of look like the beach a little bit, and it's a circle. I've maybe used it only a few times and I want to give it a little bit more attention. This next one is from Natasha Denona. This is the Circo Loco palette. I wanted to have at least one really beautiful, colorful palette, and this one is it. This is a stunning palette. I still cringe at the price that I paid for this palette. It was a very expensive eyeshadow palette, and I don't use it nearly enough, and I should, because I paid a lot of money for this palette, and it's beautiful. These are beautiful tones. These oranges, I mean the blues, everything, the pinks, everything in this palette does remind me of summertime. A really beautiful pop of color for the summer, so it is definitely one that I want to use a lot more of during this time. And last but certainly not least is this one from ColourPop. This is the Your Golden eyeshadow palette. I mean, this one is pretty much also a classic summertime. Reminds me of the beach eyeshadow palette with the golds, the browns, the pops of blue in it. I just think this is definitely a perfect palette for the summertime. It just screams summer. Even the palette looks like sand, like the beach, like the cover of it and everything, the packaging. It's definitely one for the summertime. And because it's such a large palette, you would never run out of options to do different eyeshadow looks with. There are my 10 picks, so let's go ahead and get right into the tutorial using the Profusion Honest Hibiscus palette. This is the Profusion Honest Hibiscus palette, and I haven't used this one in a while. It's hard to show you the colors. There we go. This palette's wanting to reflect against my light. There, you can see it like that. And I'm just going to go in with this shade right here on a pointed eye pencil brush from e.l.f. and start applying that on this inner portion of my crease. I remember the shimmer shades in this palette being pretty flaky, and they look flaky in the palette. That's probably why I don't wear it that often, but the color scheme definitely reminded me of summertime, so I wanted to pull this palette back out. And on that same brush, I'm going in with this hot pink shade right here. This is the shade Vivid. And then I'm going to put that on this outer portion of my crease. I wiped off some of that excess, and I'll go back in, kind of in between those shades, and blending that pink out a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going in with the shade Tropical. I'm going to take that on my finger. Just kind of placing that on this outer portion to match up with that pink in the crease. And then blend between those two shades. Okay, and then I'm going in with the shade Sunny Days. I'm going to try to take that on a flat brush and just spray it with setting spray, and then place that on this inner portion. Gosh, even sprayed with setting spray is still chunky. I know it would have been better with my finger, but it's hard to get into that inner corner with my nails. I'm going back in with that shade Petals, which was that kind of peachy tone, and putting that in this inner crease again. Kind of mixing with the yellow though a little bit now. Okay, I'm just going to do the other eye and the rest of my face off camera, and I'll be right back. Now on that same pointed eye pencil brush, I'm going in with this shade right here. It's the shade Petals. And I'm gonna run that on my lower lash line. And then on that same brush, I'm going to see if I can pick up some of the Pressed Glitter shade in this palette and just see if I can put that in the inner corner a little bit. Okay, well it kind of applied a glob of it, and it's not really spray. So, okay, I'm going to do it on the other side though to kind of, since I did it. And if anybody wants to do this look, I would suggest just skipping that part because, ew, I do not like the way that looks. I thought it would look cuter. It does not. Then I'm just going to go back in with the mascara I used, which was the Tower 28 Makewaves mascara. Okay, and here are the eyes all done. But there you have all 10 palettes that I definitely want to reach for over the summer. So I thank you so very much for watching. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.